Welcome to the Empowered Spirit Show. This is your host, Terry Ann Hyman. I'll explore the connection to the human spirit in a way that helps to navigate your life, including crisis. I am passionate about helping you to open up to your intuition and the metaphysical world of spirit to find your confidence in your own inner guidance. Take a pause, be inspired, learn ways to show up focused, centered, and more dynamic in your everyday life. Welcome back to the Empowered Spirit Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. This episode is being sponsored by Ritual+Shelter. Are you looking for a magical place to shop and hold space? Check out Ritual+Shelter online or in Homewood, Alabama. Browse through their bookshelves covering topics such as energy healing, crystal healing, Reiki, chakras, auras, the Akashic Records, shadow work, astrology, and earth-based healing. You can also find teas and tinctures alongside crystals and oils to help establish a mindful mindset and fluid ambience before meditation, ritual work, and reflection. Ritual+Shelter is dedicated to providing one-on-one, in-depth conversations with customers to help them find the most efficient healing methods and resources that match their unique interests and energy. They offer tarot sessions, Reiki, soundbowl, and crystal healing. Visit ritualshelter.com to book an appointment and bring peace back to the body, mind, and spirit. Or find them on Instagram at Ritual Shelter Shop. As this podcast goes to air, we're moving into the Aquarius Full Moon, peaking on the 19th. This is our last full moon before eclipse season begins, and you may feel the intensity rising. Eclipse season is always a highly transformative time, and it seems like this full moon is planting the seeds of change. You may feel the unsettling energy flowing in, but it seems that the universe is not ready for you to land just yet. It can always be unsettling to be in a state of limbo or in the process of change. But one thing you can come back to under this full moon is the idea of flow. We'll also be moving through that seasonal transition, which sometimes can stir up energy as well. So this is your time under this full moon to flow with what is coming up rather than trying to control. This full moon really wants all of us to surrender, to just be present in whatever is showing up for you in your world. Uranus, the natural ruler of Aquarius, is also active under this full moon, adding to the insecurity you may be feeling. When Uranus is active along with the moon, we can feel irrational, moody, and caught off guard. The presence of Uranus also indicates some surprises or wild card energy that you perhaps didn't see coming. Things may turn in an unexpected direction, or you may receive some information that shocks you. Uranus energy can also trigger what is weak, revealing what is no longer stable or working in your life. So definitely as this energy builds, it is a time to stay true to your spiritual practice, to ground your energy, and work with what I call the rites for your everyday life. Reiki, intuition, tarot, EFT, and stones and crystals. As a spiritual mentor, I can help you with these tools, learn about your energy body, and upgrade your spiritual path. So I wanted to share another private mentoring client's testimony with you. Andy, who was going through a divorce, wasn't happy, knew something was missing, and was looking for guidance. She found me through one of my sound healing events and resonated with my story as well. Let's listen to what Andy has to say.
Hi, my name is Andrea Carroll. I started working with Terry about 5 years ago when I was going through a major life change, maybe what I would call a crisis at the time, through a messy divorce. And I really wasn't sure what it was that I was looking for. And I heard about a soundbowl therapy. And from that point forward, I met Terry, and she taught me about Reiki, told me to come in for a session. And through that, I was able to actually participate in her Empowered Spirit program and teach myself these tools. And my life has changed dramatically in the last 5 years. I am so much happier. I'm able to heal myself when I have issues and things going on, recognize my own anxiety at times, and help those around me. My life is totally different now. I have a different job. I've gotten a promotion. I'm remarried. I have a stepchild now, and I have so much more peace in my life. And I'm so happy that I met Terry and was able to put these tools to good use for myself.
Yes, she did the work and saw her life improving. She continues to use her spiritual tools. She's been training as a Reiki master, and she continues to work with all of life's issues because she has the tools to help her. Yes, I am a spiritual mentor, and I can help you tap into your spirit and learn more about yourself, how to work through past traumas, and how to step forward in life. I have many tools in which I can guide you. Want to know more? Schedule a complimentary spiritual upgrade breakthrough call with me, and let's talk about how I can guide you into building your practice, help you move through difficulties in life, transitions, and find the love of your soul that will inspire you. Links will be in the show notes. In today's episode, we talk crystals, one of my favorite subjects. And this conversation is just in time for my upcoming Reiki 2 certification class because we begin to learn how to access the energy of crystals with Reiki for the subtle body. My guest is Sharon McAllister. Her book, which is her second book on crystals, is entitled Crystal Body Grids, 56 Gemstone Layouts for Energy Healing. In this episode, we talk about crystals. Everything is energy, daily energy care, crystal body layouts for energetic enhancement, various conditions you can use crystals with, disease, digestion, skin, hair, and even sleep. And her book explores the metaphysical origins of each ailment, which crystals to use, how to program them for targeted energy channeling, and how to arrange them on the body. We also talk about body grids to attract peace, vitality, wisdom, and abundance. She shares hands-on techniques for working with crystals and also shows how they can help you achieve enhanced health and well-being, as well as better connection to your inner wisdom. Before we begin, let's take a moment to pause, breathe, and set an intention for where you are. So wherever you are, if you can, close your eyes. Taking a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, release the breath all the way down, slowing down. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, call all your energy into you, call it in. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, begin to align your energy. Call in the spiritual body to align right on top of the physical, the emotional, the mental bodies, centering. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And this time as you exhale, dropping into the heart, right into the deepest part of your heart, feeling that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit, source, creator, God. Know that you are loved, guided, protected. Feeling all this energy coming in around us as we call in the masters, our Reiki teachers, the angels for love and joy, the crystal beings for amusement and magnification. Calling in your higher self to receive this information. Taking another deep inhale and exhale as we set all of this energy around us. Noticing where you are on this great wheel of life. Where I am, we're moving through this last part of summer. And we notice the growth looking around us, within us. Notice. Taking a moment to call in the directions to the south, the west, the north, and the east, above us, below us, right into that deepest part of your heart, setting an intention. See it, hear it, feel it, know it, and allow the elevated emotions, how you want to feel, to radiate out all around you, setting your aura. Taking another deep inhale. And exhale, bringing all of that energy all the way down, grounding, focusing, opening the heart. Feel the illumination of your third eye. And now, as you're ready, blinking the eyes back open, coming back. For more than 20 years, Sharon McAllister has been working as a holistic therapist and developing and teaching both crystal healing and reflexology diploma courses for the Hope Healing Clinic in Manchester and Yorkshire, UK. The author of Awakening Your Crystals and her latest book, due out in September, Crystal Body Grids. She lives with her 3 children, husband, and dog in the Scottish Highlands. So let us welcome Sharon to the show. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, this is one of my most favorite subjects, crystals. I love the energy. I have crystals everywhere. So thank you. Thank you for your work. And this is actually your second book on the subject. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful opportunity to go a bit deeper with this book than we did with the first book, Awakening Your Crystals. That book was really around 8, what I like to call super crystals, that are the most commonly available crystals that you might be able to get hold of, that you could really use in many, many different applications for everyday challenges. I feel I've experienced that myself in my life, and it's kind of the book that I would have wanted to have right back at the beginning when I was starting out, just somebody to say, look, if this is happening in your life, this is what you need and this is what you do with it. Very simple. And so with the crystal body grids, it's been a bit more of an expression of my everyday work, which is working with clients who often have, more serious things going on in their lives, and they have health challenges. And it's a way to show people that whatever you're doing with your doctor, if you can also focus on what's happening with your energy field, you can be supporting your road to well-being. Doesn't have to interfere with what you're doing with your doctor. Always check with your doctor. But through a variety of, when we started out with this book, it was probably about 4 times the size, of course, because there are so many conditions that we can all get. But, we've peeled it in and got as much into the book as we possibly can, and concentrated on really, I think, probably more common things that most of us might encounter. Yeah.
So let's just back up for a moment and let me ask you, what led you to crystals in the first place?
Well, I was having a head-on collision with destiny. I didn't know it at the time, but when I can track back now, the universe was preparing me for this subsequent head-on collision with destiny. I worked in my previous career in the Far East. So I met a lot of people who, I think in the Far East, they're so much better at being energy aware than we are in the West.
I agree.
I think we lost that somewhere along the line. Not all cultures, but, we lost it. And we are reawakening to this now, like it's new. And yet there are cultures around the world where this has never gone away, and the energy is a very inherent thing. So I would go into these places with hard-headed businessmen, and there wasn't anybody that didn't open a new office that didn't have the feng shui person come around first and say, wow, move the door 6 inches to the right, and the fish tank needs to go there for the flow, because of course, heaven forfend, they wanted the maximum energy flow they could. And these guys were really there to make money, but they didn't let go of the important thing that was energy, because they were brought up with that. And we're not necessarily brought up with that here. So I was gathering this and I was doing courses while I still had a foot on a log in that other world. And then as I, traversed the two, and gathered up with courses. And again, the universe placed in front of me the most amazing teachers, the most amazing people. And then, you know, we had our left field shock horror thing that people get in life. And my husband had a life-changing accident. I sometimes look back and think, if I hadn't done all of this, if I hadn't been gathering these experiences, you know, I don't think I would have met that life-changing. It was life-changing for him. It was life-changing for all of us in quite the same way. So, you know, to me, energy is everything. Everything is energy. And certainly those people that were around me at the time, you know, where I'd got to, and I, you know, wasn't so far into my training, but it meant I had enough resources to kind of think, okay, this can be positive. This looks very bleak, but it can be positive. We can get through this. And that in time, of course, meant I changed my work. And perhaps maybe if that hadn't happened, would I have changed it then? Would I have changed it in a different way? I don't really know, but you know, that's what the universe sends you, and
But it happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. And by no accident,
Yes.
synchronicity of life. It happened. Yes. So
Yeah. So you have some very important points. One is that we have forgotten a lot of the ideas of energy and how it becomes in our daily life, right? And I know being where I am, people sometimes can look at me like, what are you talking about, right? But I think it is forgotten. And I do think it's so important that we bring it back. And yes, feng shui is big here too, but I agree with you. Not everybody thinks about that when they're opening their office. Like, let me look at this right at the beginning. So I think that's a valuable trait as well. And then I did want to ask you, so as you started to embrace the crystals, did people look at you like, what is she talking about? Or were you easily accepted for this?
no. And even some of my dearest friends, because of course I thought I'd discovered the wheel. So I was the dinner party bore who would sit there and say, wow, you know, I've discovered the wheel. I've discovered energy. You know, this is what we all need to be doing. And people are going, I think I'll have the fish, you know, because of course, if they're not ready to hear it, it bounces off a little bit, doesn't it? Have you had that experience?
Yes.
Somebody's not there yet,
Yes.
it does.
Yeah, it kind of glazes
settle
over and you could tell like they
Yes.
just didn't receive that information. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And lots of times it's just passed over as woo, you know, but yet there is this automatic energy that people have when they see crystals, right? They go like, oh, and then they just move on. But there is something that attracts people, and that's energy. There is a resonance. They are fields of energy. And I think once we can start to wrap our minds around that, it's easier to understand. So I'm also a Reiki teacher and Reiki too, which I do have an upcoming class. And it's like my favorite thing to start teaching. Like, okay, I don't bring crystals out really until Reiki 2, because we do get more creative with the whole idea. Everything is energy.
Yes, I love Reiki. I've had Reiki. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And the crystals love it. They just can hold that
Yeah.
vibration of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the thing I think, if I really wanted to get just an absolute kernel of boiling it all down to what to get across in the books, is the thing about energy. Because the thing about energy is, why bother with crystals in the first place? That's what I try to explain to people, that it's a very powerful thing, really. You know, the purity of vibration that you get from flowers. I try to explain to people what, you know, first of all, you've got an energy field. So sometimes I ask people to kind of, you know, bring their arms out to the side in a kind of T shape and wiggle their fingers and just tickle the edge of their energy field, and then ask them where they've been that day. Were they queuing in a line for coffee? Were they going for the train or the bus? How many energies have gone through your energy? Did you brush your teeth this morning? And everybody goes, yes. Did you protect your energy field this morning? And people look like, no. But you've got it and you have to take care of it. And that's the bit, you know, East versus West, that we just don't have, do we? That we've not been equipped with those tools from being really young, that yes, we have to look after our energy field. And actually crystals are a really optimum way to do that. And so we're having gathered past life energy as well, because we're trailing all that with us. But all the things we've gathered in this life, you know, the I don't know, the terrible things that have happened relationship wise, or the losses, or the injuries, all become these little balloons in the energy field. And so we've, you know, and we live again in a culture which seeks a quick fix because of the way the drug culture is. And so trying to get people to maybe understand that if you've taken a few hundred lives to knit this up, never mind this one, you know, you need to make a sustained approach, whatever appeals to you. But in my experience, you know, I'm a soul recall therapist, I'm a reflexologist. They have absolutely, you will get your understanding of what you've got, why you've got it with your soul recall. You'll keep your energy really moving and flowing with your reflexology. But it's the crystals, if you like, that are really doing the hard work in the cleansing and the revitalizing of your energy. And then you've got the wonderful myriad of what different crystals vibrate to. And so in the second book, we particularly go through what works for skin and what works for, you know, if they feel your hair's thinning, or you know, so like I say, we're looking at a lot of common things and showing you, you know, just get that, there you are, you can get your yoga mat out, you can lay it out on your rug on the floor and get going.
Yeah, I so agree. And you speak my language. Yes, thank you. Because I think more and more people need to hear this and understand that, you know, like I'm not making this up. Like I agree. And I talk about like when I first started with the crystal specimens. And I mentioned earlier before we hit record that I was a stone buyer for jewelry designers in New York City. And I was up and down, you know, Sixth Avenue and all over in Tucson show buying crystals and stones. But
oh, lovely.
part of my journey has been through the metaphysical spiritual world. And when I started working with like some of the specimens and stuff, I had bought in some Lemurian crystals. And I would wake up for a series of days in a row going, I feel like I just had a lesson. Like I feel like I just downloaded.
Oh, yes.
So I downloaded
Yes.
so much knowledge of crystals that is just inherent in me now. And I trust that I did that. So to me, it's like, okay, another life, Lemurian starseed. I don't know. I don't have to explain it because I know it to be true. Right. And then from there, we build our practice, like you're saying. So I do love in the book that you start with some of the conditions, the diseases, and you even get into like the cellular structure of the body, the skeletal structure, heart and vascular, digestive, immune. I'm going, yes, I know somebody needs this. Yes, I know somebody needs this. Skin and hair in the head. But then you also get into like asthma. I know I've suffered with asthma. You get into IBS and gut health and insomnia. And then you can get into some more of the intense ones like cancer and all. And then even to, which I think is so needed with social media and people slowing down, peace, calming, vitality. I think this is so needed because I think we need something to counter. We were talking about this before we hit record too, how you're not engaged in all that social media. And most of the world is addicted to all that scrolling that keeps us engaged. And then when we get off of it, we're still trying to keep that going. And so we're not present in our body. So I think this can help us with that too. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. And that's why another crystal that we've included in this book is kyanite, blue kyanite, because obviously as a master crystal, it just has that capacity to align the physical. In fact, you know, I'm carrying a piece today, blue kyanite. I've always got one threaded on something somewhere, but I've got an extra piece on today because, you know, we've got a family member in hospital, and I just feel that, you know, I can feel that wee drain of energy that you get when you're trying to support people through something. And the great thing about blue kyanite is you just feel like you're plugged into an energy source that's alignment, and a line of light. You feel that sense of that through you. And so I think it's beautiful when I see people who've never used crystals who start and then get very enthusiastic about it because they're experiencing a difference. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm sure it happens definitely to me. I feel that sometimes when people arrive for crystal therapy, they really have got something quite extreme. You know, I do see quite a lot of people who do have cancers, and it's an incredible thing that their journey, if you like, has made them open at a point where really there's a sense of sort of desperation, which is very sad. But yet, if they hadn't had that, probably would never have really felt they wanted to get into crystals, but they find it, beautiful. I mean, the rose quartz bath is also in that book, where you surround yourself with lots of rose quartz. Like I do it. I get my yoga mat out, I put the rose quartz and I lie down in it,
Me
and
too.
it is just fabulous. And that, yes.
And I surround my bathtub with them too. Yes, yes. Yes, and Mangano calcite. Yes, I do. I do. I surround my tub in it as well. But I think this is really important. My whole house has crystals. I have my healing studio here. And so I also combine light through the
Beautiful.
crystals and project, and you can see them so amazing. But I so agree, right? I really do that. One, it gives you the opportunity to calm down. Two, I do think there's something to be said about having the support of the crystal elemental plane, the crystal beings,
Yes.
help
Yes,
take some of that
definitely.
from us, right? Yeah. I mean, how many times do you give a little kid a crystal? Like little kids are like, yeah, give me one. And they put it in their pocket and they go off to school or wherever and they feel like, okay, I can do anything, right? I know I did that with my children. I joke, I sent them off with
I
crystals and
did
essential
that.
oils to college, right? But it's true. I did. Yeah. And I think that's important.
I did that. And one of my sons, I have 3 sons, and one of my sons every day gave a crystal away to somebody else, because he always felt there was somebody else who was in greater need in the playground.
Yeah.
to have a rose quartz or an amethyst. So we went through a lot.
So we have that crystal energy, and then we take the whole idea of the energy field. I mean, that's one of the things in Reiki too that I start to work with. All right, let's just not admire them. Let's hold them in our hand. Let's feel what each of the crystals do. And we go like from 1 to 2, and then we go back to 1, then we go to 3. So we're comparing so that we start to feel the different vibrations that each of the crystals hold. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's all about the energy vibration. I mean, flowers have a beautiful energy vibration of purity, and they raise the vibration of energy. And I think people really get that. That's why we put flowers in sacred sites, isn't it? It's why we take them to sacred places. I mean, it's why we want to take flowers to hospital, because they raise the spirits and they raise the vibration. We can't do that in our country anymore. We can't take flowers to hospital anymore. Can you do that? Can you take?
No, I'm trying to remember. I don't really think we can either.
No, but I take crystals.
That is true. And I did the same thing. Well, with my mom, crystals, and we did essential oils too. And people with the nurses would come in like, ooh, what's so smelling in here, right?
Yes.
But I agree with you. And I carry crystals everywhere I go. I agree. I wear them. I make them, right? I make them in jewelry, as we talked about. But I think that there is a lot to be said. Now, you also go into how to work with the crystals. And I know there's some controversy around this. The whole idea of programming them. Can you really program them, and intention? Let's talk about that a little bit, because you talk about the whole healing session and you also talk about the aftercare. But let's start with the whole idea of what you mean by that healing session and creating, open, igniting, and closing.
Yes, because if you picked up a rose quartz from a shop, it's going to be doing something for you when you pick it up. If you pick it up and you cleanse it, and you hold it in your hand, it tunes more into the vibration of what you have going. So if you've got something depleted in your body, if you're depleted of vitamin C, you might crave oranges. And holding the crystal, it meets your energy in a better way. If you program the crystal, so if you ask the crystal, that's programming, is asking, then you are imbuing it with intent. And so then it starts to work at another higher vibration. If you're a therapist or a healer, then obviously you are light sponsored. So when you charge up your crystals, you're at another level again. But I know some people who aren't comfortable with the programming thing, and I say, well, use crystals anyway, because it will still be doing something to positize your energy field. It will be still doing something, because a crystal has this very unique quality. It can absorb negative energy from your body and at the same time imbue your energy in, through, and around your body with positivity. So obviously the cleansing helps.
No matter what, it has that piezoelectromagnetic field. Let's say that 3 times.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it.
Into the idea that you can program it, it still has that. But I think intention is everything.
It is a form of intention, yes. So you could call it that, but it obviously I include in the book programming quotes. And the idea is that working through the book, if somebody felt they had something a little bit different and a little bit unique, that the format is there and they could create their own. You
Yeah, I
know,
love
it's
that.
really about people being empowered, because I meet so many people who arrive, particularly if they've got something quite extreme, and they arrive, and one thing that's happened to them is they're very disempowered about the way forward and what they can do about feeling better. You know, some of those treatments are really horrible, and yet there is always something that you can do to help improve the quality of your energy field, and that in turn helps you feel better in your physical body. So it's, you know, it's like I say, born out of you know, experience, personal experience, and experience of people that I see.
I love that. I love that idea of
Yeah.
light sponsored. I haven't heard that before. That's really great. Yeah. Now, you also talk about the threefold energy system. Let's get a little bit into the whole idea of that.
Yeah. So, and also when we included in the programs, you know, I would ask the light. I think I'd probably identify as an alchemist as much as anything else this time round. Maybe not before in other times round, but this time round. But I still like, but I'm also very aware, particularly where I live, because there's a spiritual community not too far from me, and they're very earth energy orientated. And I know that a lot of people do identify more with, you know, the earth mother, and that feel that, you know, this earth energy is more important to them as a divine energy than perhaps I would call, you know, me calling on the light. They would prefer to call on the earth energy. So that's fine. And yes, so we have primary, you know, the way that our energy field works, we have primary energy that we receive through the crown chakra. We have universal energy that we breathe in through our chakras, like we breathe air in through our lungs. And through those small chakras in the feet, we're receiving earth energy, which is rising up through the body. And so we have a very beautiful diagram of what that looks like. Because I think I've also included some energy paintings of what it looks like, you know, to have a healthy chakra. You know, some chakras are single vortex, some chakras are multi-vortex, and you can have ruptures with those so that people kind of get an idea what that looks like. I think that helps if you're putting crystals onto chakras. I mean, I use microporous tape. I tape, you know, if I think I'm taping it on, hopefully not answering the door with it taped on, but I think I probably have done that before. Yes, and also maybe what a closed chakra looks like, what a capped chakra looks like. You know, if you're somebody that isn't expressing yourself, your throat chakra will end up with this shield, and then eventually the chakra kind of comes in and kind of looks smaller and diminished. And that's somebody who's maybe swallowing down what they would really like to speak as their truth. So again, you know, we've got an index of crystals at the back end that gives you some other ideas of what you could do with the A to Z of crystals, you know. So you might find some other stuff in there as well as in the diagrams.
Yeah. So you have the activator crystal, then you use a lot of rose quartz in there, and you have that out point in there as well. And so sometimes we can substitute what we need. And like you said, you have that diagram in the back. I think that is so amazing to have that. Now, you also talk a little bit about, and I think this is really important, aftercare. How long are you recommending people lay in the crystal grid? And then what is the aftercare about?
Generally, you know, crystals, we're only in linear time on this planet. And so the space-time continuum is quite different. And I think when you enter the world of crystals, that's where you go. I mean, I've got people who feel very physical and really don't believe in energy. I say, well, it works anyway, you know, and they can't believe how they feel when they come back. It's 10 minutes. Generally, these sessions are 10 minutes. And of course, you know, after those sessions, I'm doing a lot of alignment with people, because I want them to feel grounded and comfortable and awake and aware, because, you know, most people are driving off somewhere to get home. If you're at home and you're working with crystals, you can take your time. I know myself, if I have crystal healing with somebody, I'd like to be pushed into a room on a bed, and I'd like to be left for a week, because, you know, I've enjoyed the experience. That's
Right,
obviously
I
not going
agree.
to happen.
Yeah.
But
Some people can't sit still, but
That's
yes, I totally
that's
agree too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love it. Um, so yes, I want them to be, awake and aware, and also it's important to remember that having had one of those crystal configuration layouts, which I know in America they like to call grids, when you've had that the after effects of that will be, 24 hours, you will still be feeling that your energy, having crystals, if I work with you with reflexology, your energy will expand, out beyond where your energy field is at the fingertips around your body. And if I'm working with you with crystals, your energy's right out around the room. It's so expanded. Obviously, it has to come in. So if you can have something to drink, because your physical body working makes your energy kind of come back into its natural resting state. If you can have a little bit of something light to eat, and then just be really gentle with yourself. Because you might have intuitions, you might have some sensations, you might have things come to you in clarity because you have just had a little trip to the cosmos. It might only have been 10 minutes in our physical time, but in the, the space-time continuum, you've had a little trip.
Yeah, I know a lot of our energy classes and stuff, we'd always have like a break at the end of the day with chocolate. There was like chocolate will ground the body. So that was always a fun thing. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
you know what? I so agree with you. In Reiki 2, in our Reiki 2 certification class, we teach long distance healing. And I like to teach that in connection with using crystals because I agree. I think that as we're using them
Yes.
and working in the subtle and working in the etheric, they do help to hold that vibration for you as the healer, as you called it, the light sponsor, and for the
Yes.
other person that you're working on. So that becomes a very big part that I teach in Reiki too. So I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yes, I've done that. And again, through light sponsorship, you have an appointment with somebody, they're in another place altogether. And at a point in time, they're laid on a bed and I lay out crystals and they are experiencing that light. It's quite
Yeah.
fantastic, quite
Yeah. I so
amazing.
agree. Yeah. And so I think it's important that when people look at your book that they of course people are going to go right to what they have, right? That's kind of normal human nature. Oh, well, let me look up what I have, right? But I think that's what you do. You go and you experience it. You find the crystals that will suit for what the protocol is. And then take your time or you go to a practitioner either way or like I'm talking about with the Reiki too, if you're a student of it, you just start practicing for yourself. So I think that's really important. Now you mentioned the whole idea of a daily care routine, just like you said about your brushing your teeth. I think that's part of our routine. Yeah, can you talk about that?
Yes, yes. A daily alignment. I think that if you do this, the day you don't get out of bed or sit in bed and don't put your foot on the floor and haven't aligned yourself and protected your energy is the day things start to go awry. I've taught my sons to do this. If somebody suddenly is charging out the door and they think, oh my goodness, I've not aligned, they notice the difference, because are you working in tune with the light or are you just going off piste and doing your own thing? So yes, and it's very simple. It doesn't take very long. So if you can breathe a beautiful crystal blue light through your energy field and feel that it's cleansing all the way through your body and releasing the negative energy through your base chakra to the earth, and then bringing in that white light of positivity, filling up the whole of your energy field, veiling yourself in the white light of great positivity, the blue light of great strength and protection, and the golden light of great beauty, strength, and protection. And I like to breathe an emerald light down from the crown, down through the spine, the center of the body, and I like to feel it pulsing through the soles, those small chakras in the soles of the feet, like I'm grounding my light to the earth in unison strength and in light empowerment. And I feel very quick, and you can do it through the day. So if you felt you were having a terrible day and you were meeting terrible, people who were draining energy from you, you could just sit quietly in the loo if you needed to and just do a little alignment. And again, I know if you can do it before you go to sleep, you have a better night's sleep, a better quality of sleep. It's just a better way to meet what's coming at you because you don't know what's coming at you.
And I so agree. I mean, I'm big on waking up early and doing all my meditations and setting my energy in the morning. And what I started to notice was I just wasn't really doing the same at night. I do a nice cleansing bath, but then I didn't really go to
Mm,
sleep that way. And I
mm.
also started noticing I was pulling in way too much energy from just the universe and my field of energy traveling. So now I do a little prayer protection, like you're saying at night. I actually sleep with black obsidians under my pillow, right, to keep that
Oh,
extra
lovely.
protection. Yeah. But I think all of this is really important in bringing in that presence. It's so needed. And if
Yeah,
anything can combat that whole social scrolling and all, this is what we're talking about. Pull your field back
yeah,
in, clean out that excess energy, because otherwise you're going to sit there and try to catch up, try to catch up, try to catch up, just like you do when you're scrolling. And I think that takes us out of our body, not back into our body.
yes. And sleep, we've got a section on sleep because sleep is just it. I mean, there's a whole industry on how to sleep now, isn't there? That's become such a problem for people. But like you say, people are often, when I ask people, okay, how do you prepare to go to sleep, or how, what happens? So, often they are doing strange things, really, in terms of how they prepare to sleep, what they're doing. So we cover sleep in the book.
I think people don't do that enough, right? Like have those intentions for going to sleep and setting that pattern. And people do have a lot of trouble. And I think, like you said too, I mean, it is intention too. Take a moment. I know in the old days, maybe still many do, we would say our prayers at night or something, but I think many people have kind of gotten out of that. Maybe they don't have a religion, but either way, working with the energy field and putting that intention. And
Mm,
again, the crystals you're going to recommend for sleep can be very helpful. They really
yeah,
can to help us align our energy for sure. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I was just going to say, you've got your obsidian and I've got my rose
I've got
quartz
my
under
rose
the
quartz all in the bathroom,
under
right?
the
All my
pillow,
beauty.
which
Yeah. But I do. I think either way, whatever you're going to resonate with. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I think that's what I learned from like channeling all that energy is what resonates with you. Take a few moments, hold it. You could go look it up. Right. And you could see what the properties are, but lots of times three different
Mm,
books are going to give you three different ideas, right? Or you Google what's good for, and you get. So I think it is
yes,
that relationship that we create with each one. Yeah.
yes. And what you're drawn to. And I always say to people, if you can't get the crystal that we're
Yeah.
recommending, use rose quartz. So just, if you've got the grid thing laid out, the layout, and you suddenly think, oh, I haven't got X,
Yeah.
use a rose quartz. Just go with it.
Definitely.
Don't be put off, you know. And it doesn't need to be big and expensive. It can be something very small and inexpensive, and it
Yeah.
works. So,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people go, "Oh, you have to have a point," or you have to have a round." Oh, yeah. I don't agree. I think, like you're saying, it's like what you can resonate and what you can find that's going to fit your budget and your space as well. You can get the very large ones, and they're
yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. And I have a few large specimens,
Mm.
but sometimes my favorite ones are the smallest, most compact. And I agree with you on the blue kyanite. I keep blue kyanite around me. I used to wear not as much as anymore. I have one beautiful piece, but I used to wear it when I was going through divorce all the time. Be in the line,
Yeah.
perseverance, just really stick to your path.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let yourself waver, keep that focus. And it really helped me. I mean, I was living in New York City at the time, like in and out of the city, like all that energy, just stay focused, just keep doing what you're doing. Right. And I think it's really important that we have that reinforcement and in that field of energy. Everything is energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energy. And our crystals are there. They're real. They're energy. They're here. They're just not something that I don't know what sometimes people think about. I remember, even questioning the idea, well, are they live? Well, they're energy. Yes, they're alive. Yes, they're from the earth. Yes, they have all the sacred elements. That's how they came into being,
Mm.
right? The water, the fire, the
Yeah.
earth, the wind, like all of it. That's how they came into being. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we've been given everything on the planet that we require for our health, sustenance, and well-being. We're not doing a very good job at the moment collectively of taking care of it, but certainly they are a big part of it, crystals, without a doubt.
Yeah. I had a delightful experience several years ago. Went to Arkansas which has crystal mines, and visited actual
Mm.
amazing crystal mines. 3 different
Oh,
mines.
wow.
One you could see where they had kind of just come in and almost raped the land, just like no care, just everybody's coming in. It was kind of a private mine. We got the keys. We didn't know what we're looking for. Take what you want. The second one was kind of an unclaimed, like it had kind of been lost, and it was pristine and it was beautiful. And so we would do ceremony. We would take crystals and we would give something back to the earth, whether it was tobacco or sage or something. That was fascinating too. And the third one was oh gosh, I'm gonna have to remember who he was. Oh, he had some amazing crystal mines up there, and he'd been up there a long time, and his had so much native energy and care and attention, and you could see it in the beauty of how he was constantly recycling the land and directing you to different areas, and his crystals were clear and they were beautiful. He had a phantom quartz mine too that was amazing. We didn't get to go to, but I wanted to. He had some specimens there. But it was just so much fun being in nature and just like go for a little hike, get a prize, right? Carry your crystal. And so I do have these at home with me. My mother comes from Arkansas, her family's there. And I feel like, yes, it just really reconnects us with land and with earth. I think there's so many things that we can work with the crystals. So what are you most passionate about with putting these books out there? Like, what's the mission here?
It is, as much as getting people going with crystals, it is, we're back to the brushing the teeth thing. We're back to letting people and reminding people that they have an energy field. And this is one of the best things, that one of the most empowering things. Like I say, obviously, I work in different ways with the energy field, with soul recall, with reflexology, but crystals really, they are amazing to make positive change with the energy field and to work in a non-invasive way. So you can be using it, check with your doctor, but you can be using it, using crystals for the conditions that we've described in this book, quite happily, because they are non-invasive, but will make a difference to your energy field. But remember that it's not the quick fix. You will start to feel positive shifts in your energy field, but it can take some time. I think sometimes people have it's a little bit like with soul recall. People arrive and they think they're going to see Ben-Hur. They'll close their eyes and they will get, and obviously people don't, some people do get it like that, but often it's a sensation more in terms of what they're releasing through the energy field. And I think a little bit with crystals, sometimes people do expect, like they take a medication and they're expecting some difference. Whereas, we know from our personal experience, from my husband having his life-changing accident, that actually, if you have to take medication, then invariably that is going to do something to your digestive system, to your, to all parts of your body, that, you're really set along a road that, isn't fun. And if you can start to lessen some of that by using crystals to support your well-being in another way, well, that is a win-win.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think there are any side effects. I was just trying to think. I don't
No.
really think there are. I mean, it's kind of like with Reiki too. I don't think there are any side effects. Sometimes people will cry and it will bring up
Yes.
old energy, and maybe they'll say, well, I
Yes.
didn't want to go there. But as we both know, and many know, that as we bring up that old energy, we're going to release it out of the body. Right. And so
Yes.
to me, that might be the only side effect, so to speak. But I think that we need, like you said, as we started, like we need to supplement what the doctor tells us. We can't just give all that power away. And I know this from Reiki, is that that's part of why Reiki came back into existence, was because doctors heal one way. Mental therapy works in another way, right? There aren't too many ways of working with all the fields. So we have to work with every layer of the body. And crystals is one way to do it. To me, it's fun and amusing. I just like to say it adds amusement, it adds magnification into our life. And I think that's another way to look at it.
And it's very, very important. If we don't take care of our energy field, it's a little bit, say to people, would you never, ever have your car serviced? Would you never take care of your car? Because your car eventually will break down. And, your body and your energy field are the same. And people work very hard at physical training and eating very healthily. But, largely, if we're looking at, the majority of us, we're not taking care of the energy field. And that is the biggest message, I think, Yes, we need to take care of the energy field, and this is a really great way to do
I
it.
agree. I mean, even the 10 minutes that you're laying in the field of energy, you're allowing your body to slow down. And I think sometimes that's the resistance. I'm too busy. I'm too busy to meditate. I'm too busy to, that's when we need it the most, right? Isn't there a funny saying like, I'm too busy to meditate for an hour, right? It's like, I'm too busy for 20 minutes. But think of all the other things that you waste in 20 minutes. Why not think about it as a way to work with your energy field? Yeah.
I saw a lovely cartoon card the other day, and it was a figure sat in the corner, and it was, "Come on, inner peace, I haven't got all day."
Right? And I think that's the way that our social media and the 5G and the internet all leave us feeling like I need it instant. I need it right now or it's not going to work. Right?
Yeah.
But really,
Yeah.
the power is in slowing down and finding the ability to come back into your body and notice what your energy field is. Notice the mind. How busy is it? Notice the emotions. What are you feeling? Notice the physical body. Where's the pain? Where's the stress? And then the spirit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, you're so right, because that in that section in the new book, in Crystal Body Grids, where we talk about peace, we don't experience peace as the ancients experienced peace, because peace was almost like a status where it was a pause and an absolute refresh, and back to factory settings, almost that kind of a thing. We don't crave and strive for inner peace with importance in the way that they did, because of course, if you didn't have all of that, your TV, your survival was based on your intuitive connection. And that's something, and peace led to that. Peace led to the greatest clear path of intuitive connection. So
yeah. Well, if you look on the
yes.
scale of consciousness, peace is at top. It's above love. Peace is way up there. And that's what we're looking for in our own energy field, is to lift the vibrations from the heavier human experience, right? Great Buddhist teaches that suffer the worry. And so we want to lift that vibration. But the thing is, and I think a big part of your book is to recognize we can work with our energy field. That's why, Sharon, I'm so empowered to teach Reiki. It's not just come to me for in session, but learn how to work with your energy field. And of all the modalities I've ever worked with, that's been one of the easiest that teaches immediately the energy field. And then I start into adding that in with crystals. So I totally agree with you. And I love that you're doing it and writing these 2 books about it. I think it's just awesome. Yeah, definitely. Where can we direct people to find your books?
Yeah. SharonBooks.uk, the website, and then the links to Inner Traditions and the links to everywhere that you can get the books are on there. So
yes, definitely a shout out to Inner Traditions. They are awesome. Actually, too, the sponsor of my podcast, Ritual+Shelter, she has a beautiful selection of crystals. I'm sure she'll have this book there. She buys the books with Inner Traditions as well. But you could go in there and they'll give you lots of information. They do have rose quartz. I know they have kyanite and even more that you can add to your collection. And you don't need to build a big collection at first. No. Right? Just start small. You might need, with your book, you do say maybe 8 little rose quartz or 12. So you might need to buy a few multiples of that. But it's not like you're asking everybody to get everything in the back of the book, right?
Although I think once we get in there, we get tempted, don't we? But no, you don't need all of that to start with. No, start with what you really, really need first.
That is true. And then build the collection one at a time, because the tendency is to get so many, then you lose that connection. And part of it is the connection that we hold with that beautiful crystal being, right? Why do you like it? Why are you attracted to it? What do you feel? And then, as you're showing in the book, the ways in which we can surround the body and really spend time with these energy grids. And I'll be honest, Reiki and crystal grids was the only class I've ever taken. And I took it at a Reiki convention way back, early on, way back. Laurel Shantigaya, I think she's no longer alive, but she used to teach with the International Center of Reiki. And so that was one of the classes I took. But I think the important part here is to be with the energy. Know that you have an energy field, as what your book is really starting to help us understand. Everything is energy. Yeah, both books, really, both books. Yeah. So I could talk to you forever, because I do love this subject. But as we go to close, I do like to come around, and we've kind of said it, but if you could leave our listeners with an uplifting thought, how would you say that working with the crystal energy can help to empower the spirit right now?
I think working with crystals will greater connect you to spirit. It'll greater connect you to your inner tuition. And yeah, we do lose that, I think, like you say, with a lot of tech and a lot of stuff, and we're relying on, and there's so much going on in the world. We need to kind of come in. We do know we have this inner tuition. We are experiencing this synchronicity of life all around us. And I think working with crystals will help you to awaken to that, to those positive connections in your life. But if you hasn't tried it, just please give it a go. It'll be worth it.
I agree. Yeah. Help you to awaken to your energy fields, to your intuition, and slow down for sure. Well, best of luck with your book. I'll put all the links in the show notes for everyone to find it. Yes. And it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much to your spirit.
And you, Terry, thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaste. Yes. Everything is energy. I so agree. And as Sharon shares with us, it is so important to have a daily energy care routine. We need to take care of our energy field. Working with the crystals can connect you with your greater intuition. It can help to awaken that inner wisdom we all have. You can find all the links for Sharon in the show notes. Go ahead and get her first book and pre-order her next book, Crystal Body Grids. And be sure to stop by at Ritual+Shelter for the books, the stones, and start to build your collection of crystals so that you can build your daily energy practice. Reach out. Schedule your complimentary energy upgrade call with me, and let's get you started protecting your energy every day. Thanks again for listening. This is your host, Harry Ann Hyman. To your spirit, namaste. Hey y'all, I've had to move my Reiki 2 certification class. It is now August 24th and 25th. Same format, just different weekend. So if you're ready to take that next step forward and learn how to work with crystals in your energy field, join us in the class. And beginning in September, Reiki circles are back. Saturday nights on or close to each month's full moon at the Yoga Lab. I'll leave more information for both in the show notes.